The first step toward true power is not found in the spotlight, but in the shadows. You feel it, don't you? That persistent, cold ache beneath your ribs. It is the realization that you are performing for an audience that does not care in a play you never signed up for. This is the diagnosis. You are suffering from the sickness of being perceived. Every post, every conversation, every desperate attempt to be understood is a leak in your vessel. You are pouring your life force into a void that remains perpetually hungry. The world calls it ghost mode. They speak of it as if it were a digital trick, a button you toggle to hide your status. But for the Stoic, disappearing is not a gimmick. It is a surgical necessity. It is the act of amputating the parts of yourself that live only for the approval of others. And make no mistake, this surgery is performed without anesthesia. It hurts to become a ghost. It hurts to realize that if you stopped speaking today, the world would continue its rotation without a single stutter. We live in an era of hypervisibility. We are haunted by the ghosts of who we think we should be. We are tethered to 1,000 invisible threads of expectation. You feel exhausted because you are carrying the weight of everyone's gaze. Your identity has become a public monument, weathered by the opinions of strangers and the demands of a society that views your stillness as a defect. You have forgotten how to exist when no one is watching. This is the rot. This is the spiritual decay that precedes the collapse. The pain you feel right now is the friction between your true self and the mask you wear. The mask is heavy. It is made of iron and social obligation. To disappear is to drop the mask. But when the mask falls, you realize it has grown into your skin. Tearing it away draws blood. This is why most people stay in the light, even as it burns them. They are terrified of the silence. They are terrified of what they might find in the dark when there is no one left to perform for. Stoicism teaches us that the only thing we truly possess is our internal character. Yet we spend our lives decorating the external facade. We are like architects building a grand entrance to a house that is empty inside. The diagnosis is clear. You have externalized your worth. You have placed your peace in the hands of people who cannot even find their own. You are a prisoner of the noise, a hostage to the notification, a servant to the image. To enter the art of disappearing is to accept a temporary death. You must become comfortable with the idea of being forgotten. You must embrace the cold reality that your absence might not be noticed immediately. This is the ego's greatest fear. The ego wants to be the protagonist. It wants the dramatic exit, but the Stoic disappears quietly. There is no grand announcement. There is no final post. There is only the slow, deliberate withdrawal of energy from the world and the refocusing of that energy inward. You are here because the noise has become unbearable. You are here because you are tired of being a character in everyone else's story. The diagnosis is simple, yet devastating. You have lost yourself in the crowd. Now, the only way to find yourself is to leave the crowd behind. You must learn to walk through the world alone. History is not written by those who shouted the loudest, but by those who knew when to go silent. The world demands your presence. It demands your attention. It demands your soul. But the Stoics knew a secret. To rule the world, you must first survive it. And to survive it, you must occasionally vanish. This is not the cowardice of the defeated. This is the calculated withdrawal of the hunter. Consider the Emperor Marcus Aurelius. He was the most powerful man on earth, yet he spent his nights in a world no one else could see. In the mud of the Danubian frontier, surrounded by the stench of death and the cold grip of war, he disappeared. He didn't leave his post. He left the noise. Inside his tent, by the flickering light of a dying candle, he retreated into the inner citadel. He wrote his meditations not for us, but for his own survival. He withdrew from the purple robes and the sycophants to find the man underneath. His power didn't come from his legions. It came from the silence he curated in the middle of chaos. He was a ghost in his own empire. Then there is Seneca, a man who lived in the belly of the beast. He served Nero, a monster of ego and blood. Seneca saw the rot. He felt the walls closing in. He didn't fight with swords. He fought with distance. He requested retirement. When denied, he simply stopped showing up. He feigned illness. He hid in his villa. He traded the golden halls of Rome for the dusty scrolls of philosophy. In that disappearance, he found his greatest strength. He prepared his mind for the inevitable end. He turned his isolation into a mental armory. He knew that the only way to stay clean in a world of filth was to step out of the light. Look at Cato the Younger. When the Republic crumbled, he didn't just scream at the clouds. He marched through the sun-scorched sands of North Africa. He chose the harshness of the desert over the comfort of surrender. He stripped away the luxuries of his rank. He walked on foot while his men rode. He became a ghost of the old world. His withdrawal wasn't a retreat of fear, but a consolidation of character. He made himself untouchable by making himself unnecessary to the system he despised. He became a legend because he refused to be a pawn. These men understood that the world is a thief. It steals your focus. It dilutes your will. They disappeared to sharpen the blade of their intellect. They knew that a man who is always seen is a man who is easily measured, and a man who is measured can be controlled. By vanishing, they became enigmas. By retreating, they became immovable. They learned that absence is a form of presence that commands more respect than constant visibility. Darkness is not the absence of light. It is the womb of power. When you step back, you see the patterns, you see the traps, you see the exit signs that everyone else is too busy to notice. The Stoic does not hide because he is afraid. He hides because he is preparing. He is gathering the fragments of his spirit that the world has scattered. He is building a fortress that no emperor can besiege. History respects the silence. To disappear is to reclaim your sovereignty. It is the ultimate act of rebellion against a world that wants to own you. You must go where they cannot follow. Now disappear. The silence is no longer your enemy. It is the operating table. Most men flee from themselves because they cannot stand the sight of their own unadorned soul. They drown their internal screams in the static of the crowd. But you have chosen to stay. To disappear is to undergo a surgery without anesthesia. You are cutting away the necrotic tissue of who you used to be. The opinions of others, the digital noise, the desperate need to be seen. These are the toxins you are purging. This is the beginning of the cure. You are now ready to rebuild. The cure is not found in a new location, but in a new vibration. You must become a ghost to the world so you can become a god to your own discipline. Start with the body. The flesh is the first frontier of the Stoic. If you cannot master the vessel that carries your consciousness, you cannot master the void. Train in the hours when the sun is a distant memory. Lift until the ego dissolves into the lactic acid. There is no audience here. No one to applaud your sweat, only the iron and the rhythm of your breath. Next, the mind. A man who disappears without a plan is merely a drifter. A man who disappears with a purpose is an architect. Kill the entertainment. Burn the distractions. The cure requires a feast of knowledge. Read the ancients until their voices become louder than your own insecurities. Marcus Aurelius did not write for the masses, he wrote for the man in the mirror. You must do the same. Keep a journal that no one will ever read. Document the birth of the new self in the ink of your own struggle. This is your secret map for growth. Practicality is your armor. Change your name if you must, or simply change your nature. Move in silence. If you speak, let it be because your words are more valuable than the quiet. The Stoic art of disappearing demands a total severance from the dopamine loops of the modern age. You are detoxing from the validation of strangers. Every time you resist the urge to post, to share, or to explain yourself, you reclaim a piece of your stolen power. You are building a fortress that no one is invited to visit. This is the price of true sovereignty now. This is the forge. The heat is intense because the iron of your character is stubborn. You are reinventing yourself not by adding more, but by stripping everything away until only the essential remains. The cure is the realization that you never needed them. You never needed the likes, the nods of approval, or the hollow titles. You are the master of a kingdom of one. In this isolation, you find the clarity that the noise stole from you. You are no longer a leaf in the wind, but the mountain itself, standing tall, firm, and completely alone within it. When you finally emerge, and you will, the world will not recognize you. They will look for the old version, the one they could predict and control. They will find a stranger. A man with steady eyes and a quiet soul. A man who knows that the greatest power is the ability to walk away and never look back. The cure is complete. You have vanished from their maps, but you have finally found your own. You are the shadow that learned to light its own path. You are finally free. You are the master of your fate now forever.